This looks like a river of tears.
It does look very sad.
Have you guys ever heard of La Llorona?
No.
Let me tell you about her. La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is a legendary ghost of Mexican folklore who causes misfortune for all who are near her or hear her. And her story teaches you to always take kindly to your kin.
How do you spell this?
L-A, and then L-L-O-R-O-N-A.
La
La
Llorona.
Llorona.
So lloró. I'm like messing up the end of it.
Is to cry.
It's to cry. So it's the crying woman.
The crying synth A. La Llorona means the weeping woman.
The weeping shade.
No one is certain when this legend originated, but the common thread is that she is the spirit of a broken-hearted woman who drowned her own children and now spends an eternity looking for them in rivers, lakes, and streams. She roams from Mexico to South Texas, wailing into the heavens searching for her children and drowning other children she finds on her sad, infinite journey.
Oof. Rough.
Yeah.
Like, if I can't have mine, no one can have
No one
theirs.
can have any, right?
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
rough.
much.
Ugh.
Maria was born into a poor peasant family in a small village in Mexico. She was captivating, said to be the most beautiful girl in the world. Poor and rich men of the area pined for her. During the day, she would work with her family, but at night she would drape herself in the finest white gowns and gallivant about the local fandangos, teasing all of the men.
But, like, teasing them, like, be like,
You can't get me.
like,
You there, boys, at the Fandango.
At the fandango in my white gown. You can't touch me.
At the Fandango.
She never wanted to marry any of them. She thought herself to be so beautiful that she would only marry the most handsome man in the world.
oh, so she's Bane. She's that girl.
Finally, a handsome young ranchero visited her small town. He was wild and rich, and Maria thought he was just as beautiful as she was. She married him believing that she had found her one true love, and the only man worthy of her hand in marriage.
Wow.
They had 2 lovely daughters together, and Maria was so happy, but her husband did not enjoy his life with her. He thought he was better than Maria, as she came from a poor family in a tiny, humble village. He started leaving her for weeks and months at a time, womanizing, drinking, gambling. Whenever he returned, he barely spoke with Maria, only ever talking to their daughters. The last time he came back, Maria and her daughters were strolling the river when her husband rode in on a carriage. Sitting next to him was a young, elegant woman, most likely from money and just as beautiful as Maria.
That bastard.
As he approached them, he didn't even speak to Maria. He only spoke to his daughters, and then rode off with this new woman, never looking back. Maria went into a full fit of rage.
Yeah.
She was the most beautiful woman in the world, and how dare he leave her and only speak to their children. Out of pure anger and jealousy, Maria threw her children into the river and let them drown.
So he came back to their place, their residence,
Yes.
and refused to speak to Maria.
Just showed up with this chick and refused to talk to his wife.
Correct.
The side piece.
And he was already
Right.
starting
The
this.
side
like-
corn, if
yes.
you will.
He was already starting this before.
So this is something that was long in the works.
Upon realizing what she had done, she tried to save them and reached her arms out as they disappeared into the water. She was inconsolable with grief and ran down the streets of the village wailing and crying at the loss of her children. And because Maria had always acted like she was better than everyone, no one consoled her.
What? Yeah.
This one
What
was
does she think?
Right.
She was kind of a bitch.
Right.
And then she's the one who threw him in the river.
She did it.
So that I don't necessarily see as a negative, right? Like maybe it was just a test of strength. Like, you know, you can throw your kids like in the lake to see if they can swim, but then you get them out. Like you don't
Right.
let them drown. So that was rude.
She didn't think about it. Not
It
good
wasn't
planning.
well thought out.
She mourned her daughter for weeks. She didn't eat or drink, just stumbled down the riverbanks looking for her dead daughter's bodies. She became thin, like a walking skeleton. And eventually she died by the river where she killed her children.
Did she pine away? Like she was so emaciated, she just let
Correct.
herself go?
She languished.
Travelers saw her body and buried her along the water. Soon after her death, people began claiming they had seen her thin frame draped in a white gown walking along the river or even on the water, weeping and wailing, looking for her dead daughters. Some said she was turned away from heaven because of what she did and not allowed in until she found them. And no one called her Maria anymore. She was now La Llorona, the weeping woman.
Oh. Wait, was she wearing all white?
Yes.
Ah! It's spooky. I'm just saying
It's
it's
spooky.
spooky.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty spooky.
Super spooky. It's a super spooky outfit to pick. What's the spookiest color I could wear as a ghost?
White.
A white gown.
Because it means pure in most religions.
As years went by, La Llorona's spirit grew more evil. She started kidnapping children and drowning them in rivers, lakes, and streams. She would beg them for forgiveness like they were her own children before, taking them to a water grave in hopes that her deaths would take the place of her own daughters. Children growing up in the area were told not to misbehave or go outside at night, otherwise La Llorona would snatch them up and take their lives.
Is there like such a thing as like a ghost psychologist who could like help them work out their issues, like
Yeah, those
therapy, like
Medium.
a Dr. Phil
ever
of
watch
the ghost
Medium?
world? No, but that's a TV show. That's
Yeah.
like, isn't there a real like someone there's like a real person who can do that?
Yes.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Chip coffee.
Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost.
There you
and
go.
Whoopi Goldberg.
I thought she was just like a medium. She couldn't
Exactly.
really-
I mean, she like totally went out of her way to help the whole Patrick Swayze situation.
That's
so.
true. That's true.
She's also a notary public.
It seems
So
like
sick.
she should get paid very well, and I'm pretty sure that ghosts don't have any money.
You're just richer for the experience.
There's a story of a man named Epifanio Garcia who often argued with his parents when he was younger. After a heated argument, Epifanio and his brothers decided to leave their parents' house and took the horses and carriage. On their way, a woman appeared on the seat with them. She sat silently, and the boys, not sure what to do, decided to turn back home, not sure who this woman was or what she was. And she just whispered, "I will visit you again someday when you argue with your mother,"
Jesus.
Gross.
Wow.
and vanished.
So this was something that was picked up while en route? These guys were like, they had their horse and carriage?
Yes, these three brothers got in some fight with their parents, left, and she showed up on the carriage with them. They believe she spared them because they turned around to go back to their mother and father.
Wow.
For years, her spirit has haunted the region with stories like this. Her weeps and wails echo across bodies of water as she searches for her dead daughters.
Wow, that even sounds scary.
And she visits those who do not treat their families well. To this day, many children who have grown up in the Mexican South Texas area say that their parents used to warn them, "You better go to sleep, or La Llorona will come into your room and take you away."
Creepy. Do you think like real estate agents out there have to include that when the people are moving in from out of state? Like,
While Llorona's out here,
like,
just be careful.
You know,
Don't let
it's
your kids
part
roam
of the
around.
charm of the neighborhood is you just hear this woman screaming uncontrollably about the death of her children that she murdered.
That is incredible. So, La Llorona.
La Llorona.
Would it also be correct to say La Llorona? Because
In some dialects, I guess.
the double L is the
You
J.
can, yeah, you can do it how you want. It
Yeah.
just depends on how willing you are to be made fun of by Spanish people after you say it.